The last of the five making up the Transatlantic Clash Mark II tonight. Mandeep Jangra has got a lot on his shoulders in terms of keeping it respectable on the scoreboard, but it is beyond rescue for Team USA as we get going here at Super Feather. Marley Mason is fighting, of course, still for Team UK, but perhaps more now in the context of the match, Spencer. He's really fighting to put his career, his own career, back on course.
Yep, that's exactly what it is, Paul. And he's really fancied this. He wanted this fight. Mandeep Jangra comes with a great reputation. And I think for Marley Mason, he was like, please give me that. It gives me an opportunity to get myself in a great spot. Mason starting well, taking the centre of the ring, just misses wildly there with a right hand, but it's a good confident start from Mason.
Overall, the slate is 8 fights, 5 wins, 1 by stoppage. The 2 defeats, I always go back to the Afori draw. It was an absolute barnstorm of a fight, by the way, but many people felt Mason was a bit lucky to get something out of it.
Yeah, he's a tough kid, Mason. He doesn't lose that will to win. He'll stick at it. He likes having a fight. He's very fan-friendly, TV-friendly, and I think we're going to see that tonight. As Jenga starts a little cautiously, just taking a look at his guy. As expected, he'll just want to feel him out. I think that would have been the instructions of Roy Jones Jr. This kid can be dangerous, so just go out there, Mandeep, and take your time. Good work behind the jab there from Jenga, who's up on his toes, using the perimeter of the ring. They're just trying to figure this young, strong Marley Mason out. Mason is what it says on the tin. He'll come forward, he'll have a fight. He wants to do it in a phone box. But Jenga won't fall into that trap tonight.
Mandeep Jangra hails from Sirsa in India, but now based in Cantonment, Florida. Pretty much the home turf of Roy Jones. Has been spending quite long spells back in India between camps, apparently. The general view, I'm told, by those close to Roy Jones is that he is a major talent, but, you know, at 31, Spencer, he really has now got to knuckle down and do everything the right way. That's the vibe I've got. Yeah, absolutely. I think for Jenga, I think if he does get victory here, they've got to start looking at pushing him forward and taking that chance, rolling the dice a little bit and taking that opportunity against bigger, better opposition. But he's got to get through this one first. Indeed, it won't be easy. But as we've said about many an Indian prospect over the last few years, the potential is limitless for a star fighter. Tidy start both ways. Yep, I think that Marley Mason would take a lot of confidence from that one. He went in there, he held himself well, took centre of the ring, forced Jenga onto the back foot. Jenga, who cuddles Roy Jones Jr. in the corner. He's very happy with that opening round, and he should be, because he'd done enough behind the jab. He was controlling the space well. There we see Mason getting through with some good shots and finding some success, but overall I think that Jenga maybe done enough to win that round, but Mason will be happy. Here we go, beginning of round 2, and Jenga back on that jab straight away, using the perimeter of the ring. Awkward customer, slips and slides, very difficult to pin down. Just misses there with the left hook. For those of us watching in colour television, took a heart back a few decades as we stream nowadays, Spencer, live on FightZone and TalkSport. I'll just make a small differentiation because the potential for a colour clash. With the blue gloves, we have Mandeep Jangra. With the red gloves, Marley Mason. And in terms of the trunks, the choreography of the black trunks with the little bit of the embroidery on the sides, and MTIM on the front of the trunks is the differentiator for Marley Mason.
Mason having some good success there, getting in close. Jenga trying to keep it at range, trying to control that pace off that jab. By the way, you talked about colour TVs there. Do they still do black and white? Does that still exist?
That's all I had when I was growing up.
Oh, you did have one. Lucky you.
It didn't work quite often, actually. You just have to bang it on the top to make it work.
I know exactly what you were talking about. Yeah, but here we go. Both guys here delivering very well. We knew this was going to be a good contest. Warming up nicely, isn't it, Paul?
I like it. They're both going about their business. A different vibe to it, I reckon, Spencer, provided by the knowledge that the match is all over.
Yep, Jenga trying to win this one on the outside, trying to keep using range well. He's obviously done his homework because Marley Mason does love a tear up, that is for sure.
Mandeep is the taller at 5'10".
Mason trying to rough him up, trying to take him into the trenches a little bit here. Mandeep, good movement there, slipped the shot really well, looking to come back with a right hand of his own and just sort of missed. But Mason with that real intensity around his work at the moment. Mandeep again looking to keep that distance, complains of a low blow there. Mason will be happy about that because he's going to want to turn it into a dogfight, Paul, because I think that's the way that he wins this one. He can't beat him on skill, boxing IQ. You're going to have to lean towards Jenga, experience towards Jenga. But one thing Mason has got, he's got a big heart and he'll keep going, and he will try and draw him into a dogfight. That's where he likes to be.
Looks like Mandeep Jangra's well prepared for that.
Yep, he would have done his homework there, as would have Roy Jones Jr. For me, Jenga just winning those first 2 rounds, but he's not out of his depth here. Mason, I think that was the main concern, the main worry. Would the class of Jenga just be a little too much? But Mason purely proving that he belongs in there. And there we see the chopping right hand that landed well there, walking forward. But there's a little bit of education around his work, Mason. He's not being too one-dimensional, and he is getting his successes. And I think he'll be hoping that as the rounds go on, he will draw Jenga in and just wear him down.
That is the trophy that will be Spencer Oliver's property very shortly indeed. A magnificent work. And what a concept. I think it's absolutely coming of age already. Live on TalkSport tonight and FightZone. Transatlantic Clash Mark II. Team UK against Team USA. This is the 5th of the contests in the match. There's been other action on the card tonight as well here at Stamford Bridge. Marley Mason for Team UK from Southend-on-Sea needs a big show tonight in front of a London crowd for me.
Yeah, well, one thing you can guarantee with Mason is he'll give it everything, and he's doing that right now. He's trying, he's pushing forward, misses wildly there though. He's got to be a little bit more creative than that with Jenga, but Jenga's just trying to control this behind the jab, keeping that distance, and he's doing that well. There's that chopping right hand, that's the success shot really for Mason. He wants to try and build on that, move his feet into range and then let his shots go, as opposed to trying to close the gap with his punches, because that's what happens.
Just break that down for us a little bit more, Spencer, if you would. I was about to ask you that very question from Mason's point of view. What is educated pressure and what's just closing the range?
Yeah, well, educated pressure is moving your feet before you let your hands go, because when you're boxing another fighter, you're looking eye to eye. So if you try and close the gap with your hands, your punches, your opponent can see that. But if you move your feet a split second before throwing your punches, it closes the gap and you're in range and the opponent doesn't see it.
Shades of the Spencer Oliver about that. Spencer could fight that way for certain.
Yep, that is important. That's how some fighters just don't know how to close that gap, but that's how you do it. just moving them feet into range before letting the shots go, but it's a split second before you do that. Nothing between the two, but don't do it at the same time.
Just watching the early part of this fight tonight, I think very clearly that the Mason camp have been watching the tapes of Mandeep Jangra, and this right hand, he's been trying it all night long so far, Mason, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Over the top of the left shoulder of Jangra, basically.
Yeah, Short sort of whipping that shot down, hasn't he? And he's sort of like, you know, he's done his homework here. Just a little shoulder roll, trying to push forward as well. He just has to keep that persistent pressure on all the time, Mason, because if you let Jenga get into a rhythm, he's a very difficult guy to beat. And Corey McIntosh found that out last time when they boxed out in the Cayman Islands. It was a great contest, very competitive, but Jenga just dug deep and showed his class.
Won it in 12. The WBF title was on the line in the Lions Centre in Grand Cayman.
Body shot slams in there from Mason, who's doing really well in this and being very competitive, but not sure he's actually winning these rounds, Paul. They are close, they are competitive. Roy Jones gets in the ring. He's very happy with himself, and he's very happy with Mandeep Jangra as well, as we look in the corner there of Marley Mason. And I've got to say, they look quite pleased as well, and this is some of the action in the round. Maybe again the key shot there, Jenga just shoulder rolling and coping with the pressure well, and there's that jab, that whipping jab, but Mason having his successes as well. Like I say, these rounds are very close, but maybe just edging them to the WBF world champion Mandeep Jangra. But it's a great contest, this. Here we go, beginning of round number 4. Jenga may have stole those first 3, but there's not a lot in it, and Mason will still be very happy with his performance so far. And that's where Mason needs to sort of add a little bit of education behind that work. Don't just go in there and throw everything in the kitchen sink. It's too early for that. Let's try and be a little creative in there. A few feints to the body, switch the shots over the top. Move your feet into range before letting your shots go. Good work again there, defensive work from Jenga, wasn't it? Just rid that shot so well. It's very elusive, very tricky, very difficult to pin down, Jenga.
But in that little passage there, Spencer, this is where he looks a real good fighter, isn't it? When he makes sure he keeps himself in the space.
But see the way that he's working on the inside there, the short shots, there's travelling 6 inches, the shoulder roll, short shots. Who does that remind you of? A little younger Roy Jones Jr.
Absolutely.
The way he's done that, you can see shades of that there. When he does little moves like that, you can see that they work on repetition in the gym, day in, day out. And that was the way that Roy was taught as a young child. His dad trained him, and he had him working that bag rounds after round after round, and that's what creates champions. And you can see Roy's installed that into Jenga.
That was for the corner, actually, aimed right at Roy Jones, the way Jangra just moved out of the range very slightly there and made Marley miss. That was like, thanks boss, I've got that one down now.
He's just trying to steal the soul of Mason just a little bit here. Mason, see, getting frustrated, that's a sign of frustration. He's finding it very difficult to ping Jenga down, who's now slipping into a rhythm, Paul. And this is what I was talking about. The danger for Mason is that if Jenga gets into that rhythm, it's very difficult to break.
The problem is he's just not accurate enough, often enough, Mason. Travelling to range, there again he misses. I don't think any of them were scoring shots, and he's putting in an awful lot of effort sometimes, Spencer, for not much reward. Yeah,
and you know, you have to feel for him there, because he's in with a very slippery, very difficult opponent to beat in Mandeep Jangra. 11 wins, 1 defeat, 7 of those wins by KO, so he carries a little bit of weight in his hands as well. It's that unpredictability, the shots that you don't see coming from unusual angles, and he's one of those guys, isn't he, that's very elusive and throws shots, weird lead uppercut shots.
Yes.
And they're the difficult ones to get past. Biggest round of the fight so far for me, Paul, this 4th round for Jenga.
Spurred on by the home crowd, Mason gives it everything to the end of the round. Is it effective work? That is the big question.
Well, yep, the $1 million question, is it effective? But you know, his defensive skills are brilliant, Jenga. That short work on the inside, those little uppercuts that are travelling 6 inches, followed by the whipping left hooks over the top. Listen, taking nothing away from Marley Mason, who's trying, he's pushing forward. You know, he's not showing any signs of frustration. He just keeps trying to work this slippery, elusive customer out, but just not landing at the moment. Some of the good work there from Mason, but Jenga responds, look, with that jab, and that's been the key shot for him. But look at how elusive he is. Very frustrating to fight a fighter like that. As we now reach the halfway point in this contest, Jenga running away with it on the scorecards, but doesn't really tell the story of this contest, because Mason's played his part in a cracking little contest so far.
Scheduled 10-rounder.
Mason just asking Jenga to meet him in the centre of the ring. He's trying to draw him in, but Jenga having none of it. Roy Jones in the corner there, he's very happy with himself. Well, there you go, that was a good, lovely left hook there. Jenga just switched off, and Mason landed a beautiful chopping left hook over the top there, and that woke Mandeep Jangra up, that's for sure. Mason just missing wildly with that right hand again. When I say wildly, it was just the elusive movements there from Jenga. Very slippery, very difficult to pin down.
Spencer, I think the problem at this stage in this fight, though, is that Mandeep Jangra has the belief that he's got the measure of Mason.
Yep, he's oozing confidence in there, isn't he?
Oozing confidence, isn't he? And that gives off that sense to Mason, look, I need to keep on throwing big shots, and it's not going to work like that, because you've explained to our viewers on TalkSport and FightZone already, there is a way, as he closes the range, to get the feet to do the work for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it is that having that technical ability to be able to do that, to adjust. Adaptability is key in fights like this. You've got to be able to adapt against someone as elusive as Mandeep Jangra, and at the moment it's all very samey from Marley Mason. He needs to mix it up, he needs to try and set some traps, do something different, because look, watch what he's doing here. He's closing the gap with his hands, not his feet, and that is the problem at this level.
Jangra perhaps edges it in hand speed in addition to his other technical advantages.
Yeah, that is just the difference at the moment. The hand speed, the accuracy of Jenga worked well behind the jab. He's not getting involved, he's not taking the bait, trying to get into a fight. Mason, credit to him though, he keeps pushing on, he's making a great little contest of it.
He's not allowing Mandeep Jangra a single minute, a single second off to relax and showboat. So that's a strength for Mason.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, Mason is getting frustrated. He says something there. Roy Jones Jr. just laughs at him. But it's a good performance so far from Jenga, who's kept his composure so well. And maybe signs of frustration just creeping in there from Mason as he shouts at Roy Jones in the corner and shouts at Mandeep Jangra as well. And I think he was probably like something like, stand and have a fight, mate, give me a chance. And there was one of those rare shots that landed. A lovely left hook, switched off there from Jenga. Jenga switching off there, sorry, maybe a lapse of concentration, just got into his comfort zone a little bit too much, and a little reminder from Mason saying, listen mate, don't take any liberties, I'm still here and I'm still trying to win.
So we're through the halfway point of this scheduled 10-rounder. It's the last of the 5 fights counting toward the Transatlantic Clash Mark II tonight here at Stamford Bridge. The match overall already won by Team UK in very stylish fashion, I may add.
Yep, great performance by the boys, and they've all put in tremendous performances, win, lose or draw, and we're getting another great performance here from Marley Mason.
However, the stylist in this fight is representing Team USA, Mandeep Jangra, fighting for his own reputation, of course, in addition to trying to rescue a few points back for Team USA. And I think at the moment he's on course to do that, Spencer, isn't he?
Yeah, he looks like it so far, but I tell you something, Marley Mason won't give up. He knew it was going to be a frustrating night. Look at that little uppercut there, he whipped that in there, Jenga. Sent the sweat spraying from Marley Mason's head there, but Mason back on his toes, trotting back in there. He wants a fight. He's like, come on son, sit there with me, let's have a tear up. But Jenga, I don't think he's going to take that. Good work off the ropes again there from Jenga. It was so difficult to pin down. He just doesn't stop for a second. He won't sit in the pocket. He won't allow Mason to get off, and see there Mason trying to draw him in, trying to do something. He wants to break the rhythm here of Jenga. And as I said in a couple of rounds ago, Paul, it's always going to be difficult, that.
What we're seeing here tonight are the fruits of a lot of labours by Mandeep Jangra, Spencer, from even before he turned professional, and I think it's gone slightly overlooked just what a good amateur he was, but he took a medal all the way back in 2013 at the Asian Boxing Championships. That was a silver from memory, that's a long time ago, and a gold medal at the South Asian Games in 2016. Those were two of the big moments. He fought in the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. That's what we're seeing here tonight, all that.
Yep, amateur pedigree. He's not just developed as a professional, he's done the grounding, he's done the schooling. That's where the apprenticeship's done for these fighters. You know, he's been on the road, he's used to boxing in the other guy's backyard, so this is no strange environment for him right now. He's used to this as the referee takes him back to the corner just to give him a little telling off there. Marley Mason not happy about something there. He's saying to the referee, come on mate, get him there, sort him out.
Turned pro in the United States. That was the decision made by the backers of Mandeep Jangra to base himself in the USA, guided by Roy Jones. Best victory, I guess. The Macintosh win. It's getting a bit edgy, isn't it?
Yep, he's going for it there, and I tell you what, Jenga's showing a bit of character to stay and trade with Mason there, but that's where he wants him, and Mason like that. You see that bit of grit, that bit of dog in him there. He's like, yeah, come on mate, let's have this tear up. But he's another round there from Jenga. I'll tell you what, the scorecard is not really telling the score of the contest for me here, because I think that Jenga is winning all these rounds, Mason playing his part, but Jenga doing enough here, and they'll be very pleased in that corner. The difference between the two here is maybe Jenga's accuracy. Mason's struggling to pin him down, but he'll take a lot of hope from that last 10-15 seconds there. where he let those shots go and he tried to jaw Jenga in. Oh, good work there. Right hand that landed. So I told you Marley Mason was one of them kids that won't give up hope. He won't give up. He's got that desire and he will fight until the final bell. Forget that he's behind on points. Don't ever write this kid off because he will keep going. You've got to give him credit for that. That's why I said fan friendly, TV friendly. We love him. Win, lose or draw, you want to see him again.
Mason is really fighting for his future as a 10-12 round fighter for me tonight, Spencer. And if he's going to lose, there's a way he's going to have to lose, if that makes any sense.
Yep, I think that's by going out on his shield and really giving it something. I'll tell you what, Paul, he's doing that, but at the moment, Jenga is used to the distance. He's used to doing this. You know, I saw him back in November beating Corey McIntosh in similar sort of fashion. He was very difficult to pin down, but unfortunately for Marley Mason, this is going to be bad news, but he's done that over 12 rounds and this is over 10.
Yeah. So let's run down the possibilities list in terms of plans B, C, D and E. Well, let's start with plan B. Is there a possibility he could force a cut? Unlikely, because he's not accurate enough. Plan C, could he suddenly hope that the tank empties for Mandeep Jangra? Unlikely, because he's not able to put the pressure on enough. So I'm down to plan D already.
Yeah, and that
D
is
for destroy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So land a big shot.
Yeah, and that's what he needs.
Stay in the pocket, maybe look for an uppercut. Not seen that shot from him tonight.
Well, I think that it's not through lack of trying. I just think that it's Mandeep's elusiveness, switching from left to right and not sitting still. To see the way he slipped back there, little shots on the inside. There's much more to Mandeep's game than there looks, you know. Like,
great point.
This little slips and slides, like, is very, very good. Look at that. Beautiful, relaxed 1-2 to the body, left hook to the head. Then he's not in the pocket. Then he doesn't sit there to get hit. He's the one now starting to take over here, and this is now becoming tough for Marley Mason.
Got all the moves, hasn't he? The Team USA fighter here.
Yes, he has. And the unfortunate thing for Mason is that I've seen Jenga fight before and he don't mind sitting in the pocket, he don't mind having a fight, and he does that late on in the rounds where he'll now think, right, you've blown a little gasket here, son, I'm going to sit with you now. And if you push a fighter like Mason on the back foot, you a lot of the time, 9 times out of 10 anyway, you can steal their soul. And at that late stage of a fight, they lose heart, lose focus, lose concentration, and I think that's what Jenga is trying to do there. Jenga is trying to do there, because it looked like he was trying to turn the screw there, sit in the pocket and beat Mason at his own game. But another good round there for Mandeep Jangra.
It's a very confident performance from him tonight. If he doesn't go to the next level, there'll be a tremendous amount of frustration come the end of his career for himself, for the people who've brought him to this point, and that massive commercial possibility that must be behind an Indian fighter who gets up to 12-round championship level in America, Spencer.
Absolutely, and I think that speaking to Dennis Hobson through the week, he said they've had those meetings over in India, they want to take him back, the Indian government want to back him over there and take Roy Jones Jr. over there. UK versus India, doing a show over there is great for the country, great for tourism, and more importantly, great for Mandeep Jangra to go showcase his skills. Lovely uppercut there as well.
As he's trying to do here now. But there's been a kind of situations vacant in terms of Indian boxing. All the really good amateurs that they've produced, challenging for medals at every major tournament globally, who can actually walk through the door and build a substantial professional career at world level. Maybe this is the one.
Well, listen, Roy Jones Jr. is the guy in the corner, and he will help him, try and guide him there. I know that Roy's invested in him, you know, that's what Roy does. He loves it. He still thinks like a fighter, Roy.
Yeah.
And he gives them that comfort, that experience. You can't buy that knowledge. And look at him. I'm just looking at Roy in the corner now. He's there. He's in the fight himself. You know, and that is important to know that your trainer has got your, you know, he's there.
He's got your back.
Got your back. That's exactly the word, Paul.
Mason tumbled backwards. He is totally frustrated, is good old Marley Mason. He's giving it both barrels, every trick in his book.
Yeah, it's a gallant performance from Mason, who's, trust me, he's played his part in this contest, but he's just up against a slippery operator who he can't quite pin down at the moment. But never say never. Only round 8. We've still got 1 minute 30 to go of this round, so still time.
Have you got a plan E for me yet, Spencer?
Well, let's hope that Marley Mason's got the plan E, because it's no good being out here with me and you, that's for sure.
A, B, C, D have not worked. But he's a proper handful, isn't he, when he's on fire as he is tonight, Mandeep Jangra.
Yeah, he is. He certainly is. And Marley Mason's a handful himself, to be fair. He'll keep coming. He'll keep giving it everything. But sometimes you've got to appreciate a bit of class. And we're seeing that tonight from Jenga. The lovely double hooks downstairs. The nice fluidity around his work. He's slipping into a rhythm. Right hand goes as well. And this is where he knows to turn it on. This last minute of the round. Look, he's sitting in the pocket now. He's forcing Mason back. Very clever strategy, that.
This is one that's slipping away from Mason, I'm afraid, at the moment, and it may have longer term consequences for his career in terms of trying to launch a title bid, British title. Reece Bellotti, other good men barring his way at the moment.
Yeah, and there's a good name you mentioned there, Reece Bellotti. That would be a good fight for someone like Mandeep Jangra if he does come through this one. Bellotti's very explosive. He's got that sort of style. He's got a good name as well. Maybe they could look for someone like that. That would be very interesting.
It would indeed. And we're talking about what unleashing an Indian star in the US would mean. But what about in Great Britain with the huge community?
Absolutely. Listen, that's what I think he's a global, you know, there's an opportunity for a global superstar if you can find one from India. I was impressed the last time I seen him. I'm impressed here as well. But listen, never say never, because Marley Mason will still have that belief. He will still want to get victory here, but he's got 6 minutes to do it. Can he do it? I'm not sure he can. We haven't seen anything to suggest that, Paul. But stranger things have happened, that's for sure.
Positive mindset is absolutely paramount from here for Marley Mason, who's been chasing this job right from the start tonight. A beat behind in pretty much every department against a really classy and skillful operator who's on his A game tonight, with the great Roy Jones overseeing this performance in his corner. And he's beginning to do the bit of showboating here at the start of the 9th round.
Yep. Just like he's getting going, doesn't it? He's got a great engine as Mason, and like you say, when they start showboating like that, he's oozing confidence. But Roy Jones telling him to switch to the body now, let the body shots go. They know each other inside out, Mandeep and Roy, and he does box to instructions.
Mason came into this tonight looking to box to victory. The frustrations of the Jeff Ofori fight, controversial ending to that one. Lost the Southern Area title bid against Louis O'Doherty. Couldn't go the 10 rounds. Reset, comes back against Aaron Prospere, loses on points over 10 rounds, even though Prospere was down in the first round. There is a picture forming, I think, that when it comes to the really important nights, he's coming up short.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Paul. I think that we're always going to have entertainment for Marley.
Yeah.
He's a character outside of the ring, and he shows a lot of character in the ring as well. But, you know, when he's got to that final hurdle, he's always struggled to get over. And I don't think it's going to be any different tonight either.
The problem for me with this performance tonight, from Mason's point of view, Spencer, and speaking to you, remembering you as the Team UK captain, as well as my co-commentator here tonight, at no point have I seen, forgive me, but I haven't seen it, that he's put in Mandeep Jangra's mind doubt.
No.
He's been measured for this job from early on tonight by his opponent. That's the problem, really.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. I mean, listen, credit to him because he's shown a lot of character and he hasn't given up hope and he's just kept pushing forward. But it's been a little too one-dimensional, and someone like Jenga, who's very, very slippery, you know, you can't do that. You've got to set the traps, you know, move your feet into range before throwing the shots, fake the jab downstairs, whip the right hand over the top, fake the right hand to the body, whip the left hook over the top. There has to be creative, throw your punches in bunches, all of that stuff that I'm talking about, and unfortunately we've not seen that from Marley Mason tonight.
At times in this 9th round, Mandeep Jangra's just put a bit more into some of these shots. The passing thought that I might be able to stop my man here.
Well, just coming to the end of the 9th round, and it's another round in the bag for the champ, Mandeep Jangra, who for me racks up another round, and he's got his head down in the corner there. But Paul, you just sense that there's plenty left in that engine. You know, he's not even choosing to sit down at the moment. There's nice, cool, calm words coming in from the GOAT, Roy Jones Jr. And you look over to the other corner and you go, there's an air of desperation now. They've got to go for it here. Everything in the kitchen sink because it's the last roll. And this is the action in that 9th round, Paul. I think it's been pretty similar to the first 8 of those as well, hasn't it? Where it's sort of like Jenga, just with his nose in front, just seems to be one move ahead all the time, and that's been the difference between the two here.
This isn't just the last round of this fight for Marley Mason tonight. If he cannot turn this round, then it might come to be seen as a parting of the road in terms of the direction of his career.
Yep, it's going to be, he's going to have to go back to the drawing board, that's for sure. It's not like it's not been done before, but it's going to be a tough road. It's a tough road back.
He's only 25 years of age.
Yeah.
The way they were talking to him in the corner, it was almost as if they were saying, now or never, son.
Listen, you look at those style of someone like Marley Mason, and you go like a Derek Chisora comes to mind, where you go, he's lost 13 fights, Derek Chisora. He's been on the end of a lot of defeats in the past, but he's still packing stadiums still. And why? Because he's entertainment. He gives fans what they want to see. All the fans that are in here, paying customers, they're enjoying this because this kid's trying. He's pushing forward, and that's what it's all about. Entertainment. There's still a long way of Marley Mason's career to go, that's for sure.
You make a good point. But he is making it hard for himself, isn't he, at the moment?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's down to the quality of opposition.
What a story it would be longer term if he could find the way that Chisora did, and many, many others, and I'm sure the public would latch onto him in a major way. There's nothing wrong with the desire, but class is class.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree with that. We're nearly halfway through this 10th and final round, and Mason needs to find something from somewhere. Doesn't look like it's coming though, Paul, does it?
Not yet. 1 minute 30 to make me eat my words.
And to make me eat my words as well.
What a story if he did it.
Yeah, it really would be.
He's persisting and persisting.
Well, that's what I love about him. He's showing great character there, you know. I'm trying to take some positives from this now as well. Yes, he's been beaten, and he's been beaten quite convincingly, but he's showed a lot of character in there, isn't he? Got to give him credit for that.
I do. Every day, every time I see him. What he wants to hear, wants to have, is the W and his arm raised. That's what he's craving, that's what he's working for every day.
Yep. And he hasn't given up hope for the whole 10 rounds. It's been a frustrating night for Marley Mason. He's never been hurt, never looked like being hurt, but just one move behind the whole time through this contest. That's been the difference between these two.
W for willpower, not lacking, Mason. But winning at this level is not easy. 10 hard rounds against a potential world-class opponent with a great background. Marley, the crowd pleaser to the end. But yeah, I think resigned to his fate tonight. Mandeep Jangra gets the seal of approval from Roy Jones and team in his corner. He gave it everything, as he always does. Mason, he was looking on behalf of the team, of course, to extend Team UK's winning lead over Team USA. But it looks to me like Mandeep Jangra has narrowed the final score a little bit.
Right, Paul, I'll go and jump in there with the champ, the GOAT, Roy Jones Jr. I think we're going to make the presentations now. So on that note, my friend, it's been an absolute pleasure. As always, the ultimate professional, best in the business, Paul Dempsey, thank you very much.
You flatter me. This is your night, sir. You may find a message from the palace on Monday morning. Arise, Sir Spencer,
please,
after
sir.
The victory.
Please, sir.
Congratulations to Spencer Oliver, the captain of Team UK. The smiles are very broad at the end of it, despite the disappointment for Marley Mason in the 5th of the 5 matches in the Transatlantic Clash Mark II. We've had some real quality action. We've seen a couple of young fighters of immense potential unearthed on this card for, I think, for a new audience for the first time on TalkSport and FightZone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee's decision, the score 96-94 in favor of the blue corner.
Maybe a little close.